The next few minutes, we're going to talk about Windows Phone in its productivity scenarios and how Windows Phone can integrate really well with Exchange Server, SharePoint, Lync, and also Microsoft Office 365, some of the considerations that you have to think about when you are deploying these technologies with Windows Phone 7. And what I'm going to be talking about a little bit as well will be some of the new features that we're going to be making available later on this year when we release our update codename Mango that will be specifically related to these particular topics. This doesn't mean that everything that I'm going to be talking today is all that Mango includes. It's just the specific subset of things that are related to our integration with Exchange, with SharePoint, Lync, etc. Okay? So, well, my name is Augusto Valdez. I work in the Windows Phone group for about 4.5 years now. So I've been in multiple different releases. And my area of focus right now is to work out in the program management for the business productivity scenarios in Windows Phone 7. So that's what I do over there. You should be paying attention to what I say during the session today, because you could win a Windows Phone at any moment, depending on a question that I ask. And when I ask the question, just raise the hand. Don't shout out the answer, because that will automatically disqualify you. Because I'll pick up one of the first hands that I'm able to see. It's all I can do from here. And if the answer is correct, then we'll give the phone away. Okay, so where we are, let me just set up a little bit of context on where we are right now, how we are getting to the point that we're getting. And this is a lot of what has been being fueled by the consumerization of IT term that probably you have heard already many times today. And it's about end users bringing devices to the organization that end users like to use and want to use. And then the IT organization having to deal with that and trying to have to give them access to that information or not. The thing is that this trend is not only going to keep going, but it's going to even increase. And this is something that Gartner has been talking about for a while now, has happened before, and it's going to keep happening now. So we should have that in mind. And we are building Windows Phone 7 to take that into consideration. So the first thing that we're thinking about when we build Windows Phone 7 is that it has to be a great phone that is different. It's a different kind of phone that is not similar to any other phone that is out there in the market today. But it is also very enticing for end user, because it brings together what the end user cares about most. Easier and faster. That's what we're trying to do with the phone. In addition to that, of course, we're building up hooks about integrating with infrastructure that you'll see in a second. But the most important thing that we're trying to accomplish is to build up a phone that end users will love, because they can have fun with it and because they can be very productive with it at the same time. And we are using two design principles to basically achieve that objective. The first one is what we call the smart design. That is a concept that we have throughout the phone that allows us to achieve things in very few steps. So we're trying to give you a glance and go, what we call a glance and go experience. So that means is that when you're looking for information, you can just glance at your phone, find it really quickly, and then keep going with your things. You don't have to spend a lot of time with your phone to try to find something out. And so, of course, it's designed to actually be able to do more things with less taps on the phone itself. And then the second design principle that we have is the Windows Phone Hubs, which are basically a way to organize information in a way that makes sense. So, for example, we have about 6 hubs on the phone, one of them being, for example, People Hub. And the People Hub allows me to have everything that is related to people in just one place. Not just the list of my people, but what people is saying, or how can I reach people, or all those things that are related to people in just one place. We do the same thing for Office. So we have an Office Hub. So everything that is related to Office, find documents in different sources, taking notes with OneNote, everything of that is in the Office Hub. That way, we're trying to organize information so it's easier to discover and to find. And then the last thing is to have an optimized ecosystem that allows us to have phones that are appealing for end users because they look very similar, one from the other. And if you move from one operator to other operator, or from one OEM to other OEM, the phone looks very similar. And the experience that the end user will have with the phone is going to be very similar. There's no skins on top of it. There is no different things that are going to make the experience with the phone very different. And also, the hardware keys are located on the same places. They're always the same. So you're familiar where you want to search, that you go search there. When you want to look for something, you just, or you want to go back into the start screen, it's always the same button. Now, this doesn't mean that the OEMs cannot innovate into making certain differentiations in between the phone, but that will be, for example, how many megapixels the camera has. It's not that one will have camera and the other not. Or it's going to be about one having sun around speakers versus the other just have a regular speaker set. But it's not about not having the same sensors. They all have the same sensors and things like that. That is also going to help out ISVs to create phones or to create applications, that they know for sure that are going to run exactly the same no matter which phone the end user has, as long as they have a Windows Phone 7. Does that make sense? So all those things we're trying to do to basically enrich the ecosystem and have a better experience for end users. Now, for business in particular, we are also paying a lot of attention because, as I said, we want the phone to be a fun phone. We want the people to have fun and enjoy the experience that they have with the phone. But at the same time, we're building fundamentally the phone to be designed for productivity right out of the box. That's something that is very, very important for us. And the things that we have done to accomplish this is basically anchoring in 3 areas. The first one is about the productivity towards the face of the end user. And it's providing them the tools that they're familiar with to be able to be productive right out of the box. So that's why we include Office and Outlook in the phone itself. So every single phone comes with an Outlook experience and an Office experience that you are completely familiar with, and it also provides you with the tools that you are familiar with when you're using those tools into the PC, but with a UI that is optimized for phones. So I'll show you that in a second. The second thing is that it integrates with what you already have in your organization. So if you're working with an Exchange server, we natively connect to Exchange. If you're working against SharePoint for document collaboration, we natively connect against SharePoint. In this new release, Mango release that I just talked about, that will become available later at the end of this calendar year, we'll have a Lync application that will allow you to have access to Lync. And then Office 365 is something that we're also going to be supporting in this new version right out of the box, and I'll show you a little bit of that later on the demo. And then finally, we also want to be able to provide corporate developers and ISVs a platform where you can mobilize applications that are very captivating for end users. That could be either B2B applications or B2C applications. I'll show you an example of a B2E application, business to employee application later on during the session today. That you'll see that it's giving also a platform for ISVs to create something that will allow you to have like line of business type of applications within inside your organization. Now, let's go back into the first column, the column about productivity and having Outlook and Office embedded our experiences right out of the box in Windows Phone 7. So these are the things that we have available today in Windows Phone 7, in the Windows Phone 7 that we have available in the market right now since November in the US and October of last year in Europe. So we focused to really create a great experience in email and calendar and also document and notes in Windows Phone 7. And we get a great feedback from our customers that we basically were able to provide an experience that is very compelling for end users that are using this type of phone technology. So what we allow you to do is to filter your email between all and read, flagged or important. Basically be able to scan in between your personal email and your work emails because we support multiple accounts there. View meeting requests in email, so there's a very tight integration between your email and calendar. Manage your work and personal calendars as well. And then support multiple Exchange accounts. I mean, that was something that a lot of customers were asking us for, which is the fact that we have the ability now to support multiple Exchange accounts in just one phone. So if you are working for a company that provides you with an Exchange server account, and then you are probably providing certain services to another company that also assigns you an Exchange account, you can have multiple accounts into your phone. Then in the part of documents and notes, the integration that we have with Office is very, very deep in the phone. So we have something that we call the Office Hub, as I mentioned before, that allows me to have in just one place access to my notes, my documents, no matter where they are coming from, really, and full access to SharePoint documents and document collaboration. To be able to keep the consistency of the look and feel of say an Excel spreadsheet or a PowerPoint presentation and see the transitions, animations on the PowerPoint and all those type of things. So we've been able to deliver all these things in this release that we have available today. It's a very rich experience for end users. But what we are doing is that we're taking this into the next level. And towards the end of this calendar year, as I said before, we're going to be releasing this update that is what we call Mango right now. That won't be the end name of the product, but that's how we are, the code name that we have right now for it. And we are taking all these experiences to the next level. And remember, this is not all that Mango is about. This is just some of the things that Mango are going to be bringing out for these particular sections. So the first one is that in email, we're going to have group by conversation. I'll show you that in a second. We're going to have also the ability to actually go pin into my start screen a folder that I have in my Exchange folder structure. So if I want to have a quick access to that particular folder, I can do that right from the start screen without a problem. Read email that is IRM or copy protected, so all those things we're going to support. Server search, and also set up your out-of-office thing. Then in documents and notes, we're going to be able to also have a better integration with Office 365. It's going to come out right out of the box. So when you sign up for Office 365, you're going to be able to immediately enable Exchange Online services, SharePoint Online services, and Lync Online services in your phone. And I'll show you that in a demo as well. Then bring together all your Office Hub documents into the Office Hub. Has been redesigned, so it looks actually cleaner now, and it's easier for me to understand where I need to go for different places and things. We support IRM also for documents, so it's not just for email. So if you have something that is IRM sitting down on a SharePoint server, for example, you can have access to that if you have the right credentials to be able to actually have access to your documents that are IRM'd on the server. And then finally, we're also enabling capabilities for end users to have access to documents that are being stored on a SkyDrive web drive, if you will. So if you are using Windows Live SkyDrive to store your documents on the cloud, you can have access to those personal documents from there as well. And not only the documents that you have access to, but also documents that your friends might have given you access through SkyDrive additionally. And then the last area is IM and presence. And this is basically being enabled through the availability of a Lync mobile client. Do you guys know what Lync is? Okay, for the guys who doesn't know, Lync is a new version of Office Communications Server, so OCS. The new version of OCS is called Lync. And we're going to have, by when we release Mango towards the end of this calendar year, a Lync mobile client app in Marketplace that you can go download. And if you have the license, the client access licenses to access Lync server, you're going to be able to actually use Lync client on your phone and connect against those services for IM, presence, have chat with corporate colleagues, and do all these things that Lync is able to do right from the phone. So without spending more time going through this, let me just actually show you the phone. And for that, let me just hook it up in here. Just so you know, this feature that I'm going to show you right now is the only one that we don't ship with the phone, which is the ability to project this thing into the screen. So I'm C here. And it's a little bit temperamental. Sometimes it goes away, like right now. So let me do something really quick here. Okay, so hopefully now we'll be able to get if not, we'll defer to the Wolf Vision, which is not optimal, but still works. All right. So now everybody knows my PIN. There we go. Okay. So as you can see, this is a start screen that we have in Windows Phone. You are probably already familiar with it. How many of you guys have been using or are familiar with Windows Phone 7 already? Just by a show of hands. Oh, that's exciting. A lot of you. You guys don't count. Okay. So a couple of things that are new here. And what I'm going to focus now is basically on those new things that we're bringing with this update that, as I said before, will be available towards the end of this calendar year. Every single Windows Phone 7 available in the market today is going to be updatable to this new version. So all of you who has a Windows Phone 7 today will get this update into your phone. So the first thing that you see here, for example, is the Lync client. So I have that client right in here. This is a beta version of the client that we're going to be releasing later today. When, as I said before, by the end of this calendar year, where Mango becomes available. And this Lync client basically allows me to see here the same experience of what I have in Lync in my PC. So here, the first thing that I see is just my photo there being pulled out from the global address book from Exchange or from Lync, and it's telling me what my status is, which is busy right now. I can tap on it, and I can change it to any other status that I want to do. I can make it automatic, so if I'm in a calendar appointment or I'm in a meeting, it will switch automatically to busy or stuff like that. Then I can go back and I can do things like, for example, set up my call forwarding, so I can forward all my calls from my desk phone into my phone and things like that. And then I can change also my status. I can say here whatever I want about my status update. Then I can switch here to the side, and now I can start looking at all the different groups that I have on my Lync server. Because in Lync, what I can do is I can create groups to group people that I have on my contact list on the Lync server. And this allows me to actually create different type of groups that I actually do in my Lync desktop at any time. And those groups are carried over into here, and I have access to them at any time. So for example, if you see here, I can click on this Profit Projects group, and I can see the people that I have grouped into that particular group that I can name whatever I want, and I can create whatever I want. And I can see their status right there. So I can see that Alan is busy, that Alan Hui is away, that Jerome is available, because it's really easy for me to see that. And it's also pulling their photographs from the global address book. So it's easy for me to relate to them, not just on the name, but also on the photograph. And if I swipe to the side, then I can see also all the different conversations that I have been having with these people, either in my PC or here on my phone. So I can have access to all those things. Of course, I can also search right from here. And if I click on search, what I will do is I will start searching through the global address book, and it'll bring all the different contacts that I have, basically matching the criteria of the search that I'm doing. So all those things are available for me to actually be able to communicate with these folks. I can even, for example, say, open up here Eric's contact information, and I can see his phone number. I can IM him. I can call him to work. Say I can click on IM. I can start seeing all the different conversations that I've been having with him and what the status is, and I can also keep having the conversation with him. So if I go back, that is a little bit of what we have with Lync. There is more things coming on later on this year with Lync that are going to be part of the application. But at this point, what we have available is these IM and presence areas, which are one of the key core capabilities that we have with Lync. Then the next thing that I would like to show you is the email experience. So now, as you can see here, I have two email icons on my start screen. One email icon, this one, the Outlook Fabricam icon, is taking me actually to my inbox, to the higher level of my inbox. So I have access here to all the emails that I have on my inbox. But say, for example, that I'm a person who I spend time in one particular project, and I've been filing all the emails that are related to that particular project in a folder in my Exchange account. There's many, many users that actually use that method, right? So what I have done is I have this Profits Project folder in my Exchange account that I can click on now from a start screen, and I can go directly into that folder in Exchange. So it's really easy for me to, it could be Exchange, it could be Windows Live account, it could be any folder that you have in any email account that you might have. And this way we have quick access to those emails that I have on that particular email account right here from my start screen. And what I can do here, of course, as you can see, is that I can see all the emails that I have in that folder. I can still filter that folder by unread, by flag, by urgent, or I can go back into the all emails that I have on that particular folder. And something else that I can show you here really quickly is that, do you see these little emails that they have, like those little three dots into your left? That means that those emails are not really just one email, that's a conversation. And it's actually telling me, for example, that certain conversations, like this one from Katie Jordan, it has 4 messages, and 0 of them are unread. So if I click on it, it automatically expands the email conversation right there. So it's easy for me to see what's going on in that conversation, but it doesn't take me away from my inbox. So it's not that I'm moving into a different screen. It's just expanding it in there. If I click it again, it contracts it again. So I'm always in my inbox, and I know what's going on around that conversation. Something else that I can do right from here as well, of course, is just click this email or this email, for example, out of this specific conversation and do something special with them. I can mark them as unread. I can flag them. I can move them into a different folder, which takes me to the other concept about the conversation view that we have in here. This is not just being contacted by Lync here. This is not just a pure group by subject, which is typically the way that conversation view gets implemented in other smartphone platforms. This is a real conversation view that takes actually the Exchange ID conversation view, because if I have emails of this conversation stored in other folders, those will get pulled into this view as well. So it's not just the emails that I have in one particular subject out on this particular folder. So that's conversation view done right, okay? So let me just go back here and then collapse my conversation and show you something else. So something else that we have announced as well that we will support with Mango is this new feature, which is IRM. So as you can see here, this email from Katie, she's actually sending me to a SharePoint site that she wants me to access because he really wants to. There we go. Thank you. All right. So this is something that is actually trying to show me how I can protect information that is in my inbox so I cannot have data leakage in somewhere else, right? So I received this email from Katie, copy protected. If I click on the lock icon in there, it'll tell me what this protection is about. It's actually telling me that I have the rights to reply or reply all to this email, but I don't have the rights to forward this email to somebody else. So it's telling me what's going to happen. And if I close it, and if I try to reply, you see reply is enabled, reply all is enabled, but forward is disabled. If I click it, I cannot do anything about it. So this way, I'm ensuring that the person who I want to receive this information gets it, but that person cannot forward this to somebody else. So that's going to prevent us to have data leakages of information. Now, the other interesting thing is that the way that the credentials get passed into the phone is through Exchange Server over the air, and this is something that requires Exchange Server 2010 Service Pack 1. So that is important because you don't need to tether your phone even to get the certification that you actually have rights to open up this email. And then if I go down here, you'll see that the IRM email goes beyond of just showing me the text of the email. It actually shows me the hyperlink that I want to actually go to get access to this document on the SharePoint side. And it shows me information also in bold and with different colors. So we support all the HTML tags, even in an IRM email, so I can have access to that information the way that it was supposed to be. Now, something else that we have in here is the options also to set up my out of office. So if I go now into my settings, say that I'm traveling like today, and I forgot to set up my out of office in the office, I can just go here and say automatic replies. And here I have the option to turn it on, and then just enter up a text like I'm out there. And once it is on, then now out of office is enabled. And if I click on the send replies outside my organization, it will do also the same thing that you can do where you send one type of message to the people that is inside my organization and a different type of message to the people that is outside my organization. So we're fully complying with the Exchange Server 2010 capabilities for out of office support. So again, I mean, those are the things that we have done to increase our capabilities to support different things that Exchange Server 2010 provides today. So if I go back into my start screen, the next thing that I would like to show you really quickly is Office and what we've done here. So if I go to Office, this is a new Office Hub or the redesigned Office Hub that we have. As you can see, we've made some little cosmetic changes, like for example, just changing the color of the tiles for OneNote. They are purple now, like the rest of the OneNote brand is. But we've done some fundamental things in OneNote as well. We have improved the synchronization of OneNote in between SkyDrive and also SharePoint. So you can have notes that you use to synchronize personal notes with SkyDrive and also work notes with SharePoint. The second thing is that here we have the access to all the Office documents that you have either on your phone, SharePoint, SkyDrive, etc. They all come in here. And it tells you, you see that one, the first one that says financial data? It says that it's coming from a SharePoint site. The other ones that they don't have nothing, they are in my phone. And the ones that I have down below here, say, for example, that fourth coffee down there, it says that it's coming from a SkyDrive. So it's already telling me where these documents are coming from in a very nice and subtle way. Now, if I swipe to the side, it shows me all the locations that I have available for my Office Hub. So it's telling me that I have access to that Augusto V shared document folder in that SharePoint site, in the sharepoint.fabricam.net-Augusto V. Then I also have access to the root on that same SharePoint. And I'm pointing this out specifically because when I show you Office 365, I want you to notice what's going to happen, okay? So see that I only have 2 SharePoint sites right there, only 2 of them. Then I have a SkyDrive account, which is my personal Windows Live SkyDrive account for my personal documents. And the last one is my phone, where I can go, what I have stored in my phone locally. So I have access to all those different locations in just one place. So that way we have streamlined the way that you actually access your Office documents on the phone. So that's the first part of the things that I wanted to show you. Let me switch back for a second then now into the presentation. So go back here. I'm not here. And let's talk a little bit about the infrastructure side of things, right? So we can then talk a little bit about Office 365. So the basic paradigm here is that we are developing Windows Phone 7. We developed Windows Phone 7 to be able to integrate natively with Exchange, SharePoint, and all those things. Now we're taking it to the next level with the capabilities to integrate with Office 365. So you can have an option of running your Windows Phone against on-premise type of services or in the cloud type of services. And the idea is that by doing this, you can leverage your existing infrastructure and reduce the management costs that you have for your mobile infrastructure, because you can reuse your same policies that you have in your Exchange server on-premise, or you can reuse your services through Office 365. And then we are supporting secure policies coming from Exchange ActiveSync to be able to secure your phone in a way that makes sense. And I'll talk a little bit about more of that in a second. So the first thing that I would like to drill down on, and this is just a drill down of the previous slide, is the Office 365 support. So what we have done basically here is that we have added native Office 365 support in Windows Phone 7 for this Mango release that will support Exchange, SharePoint, and Lync. It auto-discovers and connects automatically, and I'll show you that in a second. And as I said before, we support multiple EAS accounts. So you can have a combination of an Exchange server on-premise EAS account, you can have an Office 365 EAS account, and you can have a Windows Live EAS account today that basically Windows Live today also supports EAS, Exchange ActiveSync. Even Gmail supports Exchange ActiveSync. So you can have all those accounts turned on your phone at the same time, and we're going to be able to support all of them without a problem. So let me switch again back into my phone here just to show you how that works. So say, for example, that I'm in my start screen again here, right? And I want to add a new account into my phone. I want to add an Office 365 account. Right now in my phone, as you can see, man, it went out again. Now in my phone, I have this account here. This one is just a folder of the same account. If I go down here, you see I have my Windows Live account. And if I go down below, I have a Yahoo Mail account and a Gmail account and then my text message. Oh, man, don't do this to me now. You see why we're not shipping this feature? OK, so I have all those accounts in my phone. So if I go to my account settings, OK, if I go to my settings, I think I'm going to have to shut it down again once more. Just give me a second with this. It'll be worthwhile. It's way better than doing that. Yes, you can do that. That's a good idea. Yeah, absolutely. We support POP3 without a problem. POP3 will give you support only for email, right? Yep, yep. But any EAS-enabled account like Gmail, Windows Live, or any Exchange server, either on-premise or online, will give you email, calendar, contacts, and others. Yep. Now let's see if this time it's less. Oh, pin again, so you actually remember this time. Oh, there you go. It's pretty fast. Thank you, man. So, so let me go back again to the settings area here. And let me add a new account. So what I need to do here is just add a new account. If you notice over there, the Outlook one, it says that it's Exchange and Office 365. So it's already embedded in there. When I click on it, I'll just add here my email account, which is AUGUSTOV at fbkinc.onmicrosoft.com. And this one, I actually do it in purpose. Well, I'll let you see the last digit. Sign in. There you go. And now it's actually looking for the, oh, no, don't do this now. And you see it's discovering Office 365 settings. So it actually does it automatically, right? and it discovered that it's not an Exchange on-premise, that it's actually an Office 365 account, and it automatically sets up everything for me. It sets up my Exchange account, it sets up my SharePoint Online services, and it's already telling me that this Office 365 account has services enabled for Lync. So when the Lync line becomes available in Marketplace, there will be a link here, not a link with Y and C, but a link with I and a K, that will take you to the Marketplace place where you can actually download the application right from here. So it's all integrated, and it's completely pre-done for you. So if I click Finish now, let me go back into my Start screen. And if I go down now, there has been already a new account pinned into my Start screen, which is the account that I have for that particular email account. We're getting so much there, man. No, don't do this to me now. And it's already syncing in there. So it's syncing my account there. It's going to start bringing down all the emails that I have for that. I don't have any particular email for that specific account. And if I go back here, let me show you what happened in SharePoint. So if I go back into my Office hub, remember that I had only 2 SharePoint accounts there? So if I swipe to the side and I swipe to the side, it added a third one, the first one up there, which is the fbkinc.sharepoint.com, which is that SharePoint account that is assigned to that Office 365 account, and it does it automatically for me. It puts it right there. If I click on it, it automatically takes me right there. See, I don't need to enter any additional password. It's actually showing me now the directory on that SharePoint. If I click on the shared documents, see, I happen to have that Project Profits folder in there. Click on that one. I can see all the documents that I have right in there. If I click on that folder in that file, it's now actually connecting into the SharePoint site, and it's downloading that document right here. So it's really easy, and you see how fast it was for me to actually set this up. And there's little things that we have done throughout the different Office applications. Like, for example, if I select that cell and I come down here, and then I click on the sum button, it automatically builds up a sum, average, count, and all those things. So there are little things like that throughout all the different Office apps that we are also taking the experience of using Office into the phone to the next level. Is that good? Awesome. Okay, so it hold off, so that's good. And then, so let me move on a little bit into the next slides, and we'll save some time for questions at the end. So Exchange Server. For Exchange Server, we are actually taking, again, I mean, we support previous versions of Exchange Server, but we have also optimized for Exchange Server EAS 14.1 version. So we are optimizing for that. One of the things that are required for actually to work is IRM. So for IRM, we require Exchange Server 2010 Service Pack 1, because that's the only way for us to actually do the enablement over the air of the credentials for enabling IRM in the phone. And then, of course, as I said before, we have Office 365 support, auto discovery, which allows end users to easily connect into the server, whether it's on-premise or online, as I showed you before. It will auto discover your credentials, and it will enable the services that you have available with you. And as I said before, we support multiple Exchange Server accounts. In the SharePoint area, there's a couple of things that I should point out here, because there is a difference when you are working with SharePoint on-premises versus when you're working with SharePoint online. So we fully support Exchange Server, SharePoint Server 2010. It does require SharePoint Server 2010, okay? It could be on-premises, or it could be hosted, or it could be SharePoint 2010 as part of Office 365, okay? What we allow you to do is that with there is a client, that is what I showed you on the phone, to connect to the documents, that is called SharePoint Workspace Mobile. That is what allows us to connect into SharePoint. It will check versioning, and it will do all those type of things. So if there is a new version on the server from what you latest used on your phone, it will tell you that it's a new version. It will prompt you to download the latest version to your phone and things like that. The key thing for you to know is that if you are using SharePoint Server on-premise, it is required for from UAG to be able to connect using and if this SharePoint is behind the firewall, it is required for from UAG to be able to connect through the firewall to that SharePoint server that is on-premise. If you're using SharePoint Server online, or if you're using Office 365 services with SharePoint, then there is no requirement to use UAG, because that will be front-facing, so it's going to be able to, you're going to be able to reach those without using UAG. The only situation where you don't need UAG if you are hitting a SharePoint server that is behind the firewall and is on-premise is if you are registering in the corporate Wi-Fi with the phone, and you're not using your 3G data just to access that SharePoint server that is living behind the firewall. Now, what we think is that with this solution, we are, as you can see, I mean, I can make comments, I can make changes on those SharePoint files and stuff. We are enabling for the first time real-time, live mobile collaboration scenarios that were actually just not possible before. And it's going to increase the value of your deployments of SharePoint throughout your organization, because you're going to be able to reach end users, not only when they are with their laptops or when they are like connecting to somewhere, carrying their laptops or whatever, but it's going to work very nicely integrated with the rest of the phone when they're just having their Windows Phone with them. Next thing is Link. So as I said before, Link works both on-premise or online. It will be working by this new release that we'll do with Mango in the future, as I mentioned already before. There is going to be an app that you will have to download from Marketplace to be able to connect into that Link server. And it provides, at a minimum, this functionality that we have here, which is IM, presence, group conversations, access to your contacts and be able to share your contacts and see your contact information from the global address book, and then update your status and availability as you want from the phone without a problem. There's more things that you might know right now that Link has available, and we're working on those things to be available as well more in the future. In the area of reutilizing your existing investments, I'm going to go through this a little bit quickly because I think we have already covered most of these points. But it's the fact that we connect to your email and we keep the connection alive. So in this particular case, we basically do push email down into the phone, so you don't need to actually go look for it. It connects to Exchange server, Hotmail, Gmail, any EAS type of account or POP3 type of account. We don't require any type of middleware to actually connect to any of these services, so it's very straightforward, and it doesn't require a lot of additional deployments to actually make this work or happen. And based on auto-discovery, the amount of there is a lot of self-service that can be going on here. Even for wiping out your phone, you can actually self-service the wiping up of your phone just using OWA and be able to remotely wipe a phone if that phone gets lost or something like that. Which takes me to the next area, which is the area of securing the phone and what are the things that we have done to secure the phone in there. So the first one is that we have now enhanced password policies. The ones that I have in here, the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that I have in there, or yeah, 5 that I have in there, are things that we had available already with Windows Phone 7 today, right? Which is password required, so forcing a policy so the phone has to have a PIN to unlock the phone. The second one is password expiration, which means that basically you have to change your password a given period of time, depending on how much time you have given on the expiration time in there. Password history is that you cannot repeat your previous password. You have to change it. Allow simple password means that you can make or not available for end users to enter a password like 1111 or 1234, and you can disable those type of things. And then minimum password length is, of course, self-descriptive, right? I mean, how long you want the password to be. What we have just added, which is new and will become available for Mango, is complex password support. So now you're going to be able to force the end user to have a password that is not just numbers, but it can be a combination of numbers and letters, so alphanumeric password type of thing. And there's going to be a policy that accompanies that as well. So you can force that now, or you will be able to force that now with Mango. Lock device after inactivity timeout. Of course, we have that as well. So if you can force a policy that says that if the phone has not been used for a given period of time, automatically lock it down. And then we also have the ability to wipe the phone when the phone has been lost. So you can have a threshold that says that if you enter the PIN code a given number of times wrong, then the phone automatically resets itself right there. Or you can remotely wipe your phone either via the console in Exchange, or you can enable the capability for end users to do it directly from their Outlook web app client. So they can go in there, go to options in OWA, and then from OWA say, I want to wipe this phone. If I lost it and I cannot reach IT or whatever, I can just remotely wipe it. And as I said before, we support multiple Exchange server EAS accounts, but also we support multiple policy sets. And the way that we have done this is that depending on the policies that you have, we take the most secure policy of each one of the different sets that you have implemented. So for example, if I have an account one policy that says password required on, password expiration off, and inactivity timeout 1 minute. And then the second Exchange account that I'm connecting has password required on as well. The password expiration is on instead of off, and then the inactivity timeout is 5 minutes. What we do is we go line by line, and we take the most secure one in the resulting one, which is password required on, which is in both, password expiration on, which is in policy 2, and then inactivity timeout 1, which is in policy 1. So we do it at the policy level, so we are always sure that we are applying the most secure type of policy, depending on which Exchange accounts you are connecting. These are some of the things that we have done to secure the phone in the, when it's connecting to enterprise environments. And for example, things like that you can only synchronize over the air or via Wi-Fi. There is no tethering support for synchronizing anymore, so we are reducing the amount of risk vectors that you have to access actually information that might be sensitive. There is not available local workstation connection, and this is what I just meant by not having tethering for synchronizing. There is limited accepted devices via certificates, so you can still have certificates to provide access to your Exchange server. Data transmission, it's only over the air and Wi-Fi. We don't support Bluetooth or infrared anymore, so there is, again, I mean, less areas where you need to have concerns in data moving in and out from the phone itself. We do support, of course, Bluetooth for headset and all those things, but not for transferring data in and out from the phone. There's no removable storage cards. There are certain phones that we have that they have a storage card, but if you take the storage card, the phone is useless. It doesn't work anymore. So it's not that you have a separate memory on the storage card. It's just integrated into the rest of the phone. So once you take it out, that storage card is useless in any other device or computer. And also, the phone will become useless as well unless you put the same memory card back into that phone. So that way, again, we're reducing the amount of security holes that you can have on the phone. And again, I mean, you have Forefront Unified Access to access SharePoint servers that are behind the firewall. And in networking, we have APN configurable, so you can configure a specific APN type of access protocol network access, so you can have a specific access for your particular organization or things like that. And then something that is going to be is new for Mango is that we're going to have support for hidden SSIDs. So if you are securing your Wi-Fi infrastructure by not showing the SSID, now with Mango, we're going to be able to provide access to all those things from your phone. Now, the last pillar, which is a pillar around applications, we're getting there. It's about applications, and it's about having the opportunity to deliver captivating apps for your customers and your employees by having a tool set that is going to allow you to create these applications that are very compelling for end users. And I'll show you some examples on that. In the area of helping protecting corporate data, what you can do when you develop an application is that you can encrypt the information of that particular application on the phone. We provide the APIs for that. So you can actually sandbox your applications, and you can also encrypt the specific information for one particular application on the phone itself. And also what we can do now, and this is something that we have also mentioned in a previous session that we were, is that now we also have hidden links that allows us to distribute applications in a semi-private way. So not all the applications have to be living publicly on the marketplace. You can have them on the marketplace, but it made them available only to the people who receive the hyperlink that takes you directly to the application. But if you go to the marketplace and try to browse or search for them, you won't find them unless you have the link. Does that make sense? Good. And then you can develop high-quality applications using common development frameworks like XNA and Silverlight, and tools like Visual Studio and Expression Blend to create all these applications that are very compelling, but most importantly, that with very little work, they can work across PC, web, and the phone, because it's using just the same APIs, it's using just the same way to call outs for different type of data structures in your application. And there's multiple things that we have announced in a previous session that we have on what's new for these, like, for example, support for SQL Link, and a database on the phone, and many more other things that are very exciting about the development area for Windows Phone 7. So what I would like to do, just to show you a little bit of an example on this, is a partner application that is available today in Marketplace that is taking advantage of most of these things. So for that, I will have to actually link into this one. So here we are. So that's another phone there. This you don't get to see the pink. And there we are. So I have this application that is called CWR Mobility by a partner from us. And what I want you to see really is how they have, this is connecting to a real CRM online instance that is living in the online services of CRM. It is a full-fledged CRM client connecting against dynamic CRM online, right? It could be against online or against on-premise, no problem at all. This particular one that I have here is against online. And as you can see, they have taken advantage of the same design concepts that we have in Windows Phone, like the hubs and the panoramas views. So you see how we can swipe around through the different panoramas. It's showing me the first option, which is the marketplace, where you can see your appointments, your service activities, your tasks, and phone calls. And then now in the sales, you can actually click into the leads. And now again, this is connecting against a real CRM online instance that is actually living in the Netherlands. And it's bringing down all the leads that I have assigned to me. Then I can also swipe to the side and now filter my leads and show just the active leads that I have and see how fast is this and how optimized this is working. And I can click on one particular lead here, which is just a sample. And it's, again, connecting into there. It's bringing down all the information. Right from here, I can edit this lead. And I can say, for example, that is changing from warm to hot. And it's becoming a hot lead in here. And this, when I save this back, it's going to save back into the server. So, and of course, it's giving me here information to be able to save it. I can add new leads. I can swipe again to the side and see all my leads. So there's many more things that you can do here. Like, for example, going back into my accounts. Here in my accounts, I can see all the accounts that I have. When I go into one particular account, I have the option, for example, to have all the information about that account, but I can also have access to, I can call them right from here because we have integration with the phone and all those type of things. And also, if I have documents that I have stored related to this particular account, they are all stored in a SharePoint server that you can access through the Office Hub. But when you call to the document from here, it'll go directly to the Office Hub, and it'll pull up the documents that are assigned to this particular account automatically. So all these type of things are things that you can actually build up into these type of applications that the way that this ISV has decided to do is that they decided, I'm going to post my application in Marketplace because everything that is exposed in here requires me to actually sign in into the application with my Active Directory credentials. So anybody can download this application, but if they don't have the credentials to actually access to the information on the application, there's nothing they can do. So that is a way to actually distribute type of line of business applications without actually having to go through the hassle of thinking how to hide the application in the marketplace or things like that. I know that this does not apply for all the different scenarios, but in some scenarios it might be a viable solution to apply. All right. So let me go back into the slides just to go through the few last ones that we have here. So just to wrap it up a little bit, we have all these different situations where in the area of integration with, for productivity, we have deep integration with Exchange, with Outlook, with Office, and with other Microsoft properties that also allow me to become productive. And I haven't covered those, but even thinking about Bing search and all those capabilities that we have on the phone to be able to search for information really quickly on the phone are things that are going to enable me to become really, really more productive. In the other area is in the area of integrated infrastructure. There is a lot of integration with Forefront UAG, SharePoint, Office 365, Exchange, and Lync, which are the areas that we're using to integrate with infrastructure. And then in the area of applications, it's about Silverlight, it's about XNA, it's about Visual Studio, it's about Microsoft Expression to actually build up the UI that you're going to use in your applications. And then finally, something that I have not mentioned, but is also very important, is that you can develop against on-premise type of solutions, but you can also develop against Azure and against SQL, both Windows Azure and SQL Azure. And that could be used also to develop applications that you don't necessarily require, say, VPN to actually connect into the application, because those are going to be living on the cloud. So with that, these are some other related content that I would like you guys to think about going later on in these in the sessions that we have throughout the rest of the event. So think about going well, the first one already happened, so you can go to that one. But then the other ones you are more than welcome to come, and you'll have a lot of information there about the different things that we're going to be having there. This is for Tuesday. So some of the things that I talk about, development and the drill downs into how to use the live tasks and all those type of things, you'll be able to actually see in here. And then this is Tuesday. And then Wednesday. Well, you get it, right? I mean, you have all this information in your booklets. So now here goes my question, okay? So what are the services that when you set up Office 365 you get enabled?
SharePoint, Exchange, SharePoint Exchange, and
There you go. Okay, you got it. Oh, when you're done, come over here, please. When we're done. All right, good. So you get the Windows Phone. Good. And this is Thursday. I think it is, yeah. That's actually a good point here. The top one is Windows Phone at Microsoft. It's how Microsoft IT is rolling out Windows Phone internally at Microsoft. That might be an interesting session to go actually and look at. That's a good point. All right. So I think that's pretty much it. I mean, if you have questions, I'll be more than willing to take them and hopefully have answers. Yes?
saying that you can connect to multiple Exchange servers.
Yep.
Access. Can you connect to multiple link servers?
Oh, so the question is if, as we can connect to multiple Exchange EAS servers, if we can connect to multiple link servers, and the answer to the question is that I don't know. I will need to follow up into that. I'll give you my email in a second if you can just send me an email. Yes. It will wipe it out the full phone. So all the Exchange activities that you have in there, the phone will come back into factory settings. So you'll have to set those Exchange accounts again, both.
When you showed the Link client, you showed that Link had its own kind of contact card for the contact. Will Link also integrate into People Hub and the contact cards that you have already existing? Do you still have those one-click to IM or one-click to...
In this iteration, the app is going to be self-contained in the Link app. Yes.
With the existing release of Windows Phone, does that work with SharePoint Online?
It does with SharePoint hosted SharePoint. It doesn't work with the SharePoint that is part of BPOS because that SharePoint is not based in SharePoint Server 2010.
What about Office 365?
I mean, okay. I think it worked with certain versions of Office 365, right? The existing Windows Phone 7. Oh, I'm sorry. The question was, with the existing release of Windows Phone 7 today, before Mango, does it work with Office 365?
It does, but you don't get it so seems to be done.
It does. The self-registration does not work, but the capability does work with SharePoint.
Yeah. Yes.
I saw in the keynote you showed switching between applications like Shrunk.
Oh, I don't remember what I showed in the keynote anymore.
Like the fast button and
Yeah, absolutely.
I saw where you could, it looked like you tiled them down.
Exactly. So we have that is called fast switching.
Is that in Mango or is that?
No, that's a Mango. That's a new thing. That's a new thing. Yes. All the phones have GPS. Every single Windows Phone 7 today has a GPS. Every single one. It's part of the criteria that I mentioned that all the phones will have. They all have that. Yes. You only actually connect to the Active Directory to have services for Exchange Server or SharePoint if you're using Exchange Active, if you're using Forefront UAG. But other than that, you don't enroll the phone in the Active Directory. Yes.
Does that CRM mobility product require UAG?
No.
It is middleware though.
Well, it's middleware. What they do is that they have an instance that is an online service that they run that actually can connect to your on-premise CRM installation, but the phone is connecting into that instance that they have online. It's like a middleware that they have. That's the way that they have implemented it. The nice way about doing it that way is that they expose the entities that you want to provide access to that particular user in that instance. So even when you connect your CRM application to that instance, it configures the screens that you actually have access on the phone based on the rights that you have on that middleware type of environment that they have there. Yes?
Are there plans to expose the CRM like more of an API in future?
That'll be more like a CRM guys type of question. Not sure about that. I'm sure they are thinking about doing something around that.
Well, the question for that is for custom applications,
Yep.
having the best level access to the federation of that username. That's the challenge. That's why even if we were to create an application, we would have to do a middleware type of solution because of authentication issue. Because the phone is not actually enrolled.
Right.
So the app is not enrolled. The app doesn't have identity.
Well, but you can create a mechanism by why you can log in into the Active Directory for that particular instance of the application. That's I think a way that they're doing that thing. But I'm not exactly sure. I can follow up into that later. Yes.
For the link client, are you going to support the federation or like a Hotmail account?
Yeah, that's done in the server. So for us, it's actually transparent. And going back into your question about multiple link clients, I think I know the answer now that I thought about it. You cannot connect to multiple link servers at the same time. You can sign into one, sign out, and then sign into the other one if you want to do that.
That's what I was thinking, because when you were showing on
Correct.
the screen, you already had link and an Exchange server, and then when you went to and set up your...
Well, they're independent. They're independent. So you can be connecting with one account to well, you can have as many as Exchange ActiveSync accounts as you want, right? And they can be completely different. They can be in different domains. They can be in different places. In the link client, you connect to one link server, and then if you want to connect to another one, you will have to delete your credentials on the link client and then enter your credentials for the other link server that you're trying to connect.
I just noticed when you create that new account on Office 365, it also said it was...
No, it'll stick with the first one. Yeah, it'll stick with the first one. But then you can delete the credentials on the client, on the app, and then point them into the new one. But you cannot do both at the same time. Yes?
I noticed you were searching or filtering apps from the list of applications. Is that also part of
That's Mango.
Windows Phone 7.5?
Mango. Yeah. Nice try, though. Yeah. No, it was not search. It was just like the letter, and took me to a letter.
Hey, Gus, quick question. Great job, though. But that subfolder, when you added that, if I get new mail into that folder...
Yeah, it shows. I didn't show that because I just didn't get a new email on that folder. But you remember when I pinned the folder into the start screen? If I get an email, say that I have a rule on my Exchange server that says that all the emails that come with the subject profits move automatically into that folder. That folder tile in my start screen will also get a notification that I have a new email on that folder. No, just the one on the folder, not the inbox, because it's not coming into your inbox anymore if you have the rule, right?
Well, the inbox right now, if you have folders synced up, they will not show that you have new email if it's going to the folder. That's correct.
Right. Yes. We haven't announced that yet. Yes. There's more things coming. There's more things coming. We just haven't announced that yet. Yes. Say that again. The question if there is going to be a SQL Server database on the phone, the answer is yes. In Mango, we're going to be releasing one. We announced that at Mix. So yeah, there will be SQL Link on the phone.
I can clarify that for you from the folder standpoint. It's not what you think.
Oh.
There's no single SQL Server database that your applications will be able to share. Your application will have link, like access link with a Q,
Yeah, link with a Q.
like access to a SQL compact database.
There's too many links now.
For your application. So there will be no application data sharing. There is no one big database that
Correct.
a suite of applications shares. Yes, but not in the way you're thinking SQL compact used to work. There's a big clarity. I didn't say there was a problem. Did I say that negatively? I'm sorry. No, that's no. It wouldn't work. It doesn't work the way SQL compact used to, and there's a perception of continuing that story. It's a very different story in Film 7, where it's a cloud strategy, and each application is sandbox from itself. So there is
Well, and that's done on purpose.
that is on purpose for security reasons, and that works that way. So
Yeah.
I mean that in a positive way, but if you develop Now it works different. Big difference.
All right, guys, thank you very much for sticking all the way down until 5:45 on the first day. Thank you.